everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone. Today with my new friend, Brad Yates. Hi, Brad. How are you?
Hey, Kathy, I'm doing great.
I am such a fan of yours, and I let you know that before we came on because I love your YouTube channel and I have benefited so much by doing EFT tapping and affirming what I want. So could you start with, let's start with how you got into this because you were an actor, right? You were
Yeah.
doing soap operas?
I did. I played a doctor on Days of Our Lives for a very, very short period of time. I, I did theater, traveled around the world doing theater.
Cool.
And then I went to Hollywood to become a movie star, as one does. And while I was there, I met a woman, fell in love, and got married. And when our first child was on the way, I thought, I should probably have a backup career. And, 'cause TV doctors don't make quite as much as real doctors. Uh, so I so I had always been fascinated with the power of the mind. So I trained to become a hypnotherapist. I heard about this hypnotherapy school and thought, oh, that looks really interesting.
Mhm.
And started building a small practice while still pursuing my acting career. And a couple of years later, when our second child was on the way, I realized that as much as I loved acting, doing personal development work was really my calling.
Yeah, yeah.
This is really what spoke to me and felt like the best use of my particular gifts and talents. So we left Los Angeles and moved to Northern California to raise our kids closer to our families.
Uh-huh.
And through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about this energy psychology stuff and EFT tapping. And there's this conference going on in Las Vegas. And I thought, hey, sure, what the heck, I'll go. And went to this one-day training with Gary Craig, the founder of EFT. And it was just fascinating, particularly when he had us tapping on chocolate cravings. He gave everyone a piece of chocolate and said, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you want this chocolate? And I was a bit of a chocoholic at the time. And I'm like, 8, 9. And we started
Okay.
tapping. And I know some of you may be totally new to this and you're going, what the heck? I'll explain tapping in a moment, but tapping with our fingertips like this, talking about how much we want that chocolate. And in a matter of moments, the craving was gone. And I couldn't eat the chocolate. I tried tasting it and it was like, oh, that's gross. And I didn't eat chocolate for 2 years after that.
Wow. From
Now,
one time?
yeah. Now, don't anyone worry. I got better. I recovered. But there was something very profound about this. I'm like, wow, okay. So little by little, I started introducing that into my hypnotherapy sessions, which little by little became tapping sessions.
Right.
And then YouTube came along and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be really cool if there's a tapping video that people could start their day with? And I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And that was all I intended to do was that one video. It's like, all right, I've got a video on YouTube. Cool. Now I'm out there. And it was like 6 months later before I thought, I really ought to have one for the end of the day. And I'll call it Tap of the Evening. And then I'm done. And then another idea came, and another idea. And now a decade later, I have over 1,000 videos.
I know. And I that's another question I'm going to have is like, how'd you do that? But I'm so grateful that you did, because I think that's what we're seeing, that people don't understand that this is an era of know, like, and trust. This is an era because so much change. We're learning that trust is earned. It isn't, you don't just suppose it. And when you're that generous with 1,000 videos that are tapping, and I actually do them, I love them. So when you're that generous to do that, there's something about that give it away, and more the abundance cycle of it. So yeah, and you enjoy. It looks like you're having fun. You really have you have a fun sense of humor in most of it. Like I just listened to Get Off Your Butt.
It's the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down, because so often the stuff that we're tapping to clear, these emotional blockages, can be really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
So to bring in some lightness, and Part of my training when I was an actor was I went to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College.
Wow.
So there is that in my past.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And plus great marketing knowledge. I mean, that's one of the best marketers in the world. They were. So okay, so you started doing this technique, which again is EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. It entails you doing affirmations kind of and touching different parts of your body. How did they discover that these touch points, because they're like acupressure points or something,
Mm-hmm.
how did they discover that helps you change faster?
And as you said, it's based on acupressure and acupuncture, the same system that's been used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years. The idea being that there's this flow of energy through our body. And when the energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally.
Right.
When this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel good, we also don't think as clearly, we don't make the best choices, and that has unfortunate consequences for our lives. So it was around 1980 or so, a psychologist named Roger Callahan was working with a woman with a lifelong water phobia. And after, 40 years of being devastated by water and just not being able to, she could only bathe in an inch of water, had been to different therapists, and he'd been working with her for about a year and a half with traditional psychotherapy. And the best they could do was have her sitting near a swimming pool, but she had to be looking away. And even that was difficult.
Wow.
And one day he'd been expanding his horizons and was exploring different things, taking different classes, and had learned about acupressure. And he said, well, what is the physical symptom that you experience when you're around water? And she goes, well, I get a knot in my stomach. And he said, oh, okay. So the endpoint for the stomach meridian is right here under the eye. Let's just tap here for a moment. And he just did this, and she goes, it's gone. And he said, what's gone? She goes, the fear, and starts running towards the swimming pool. And he's like, wait, stop. She said, no, I know I don't know how to swim, but she got down by the water and started splashing water in her face. And she said, I'm fine.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and that's kind of what Dr. Callahan's reaction was like, well, that's interesting. And so he started experimenting with different patients and found that with different emotional issues, he had to tap different points in different sequences, what he called algorithms. And within a year, he put himself out of business because all of his patients were feeling fine. So he called this, first he called it the Callahan technique, and then thought field therapy, TFT, and then started teaching it. And one of his first students was this gentleman named Gary Craig, who had his degree in engineering from Stanford.
Oh.
And so he's looking at all these algorithms and trying to come up with what points to tap in what sequences. And he said, there's only 8 points that we're tapping. What if we just simplify that? Thinking like an engineer, throw out what doesn't work. Let's simplify this and just tap all 8 points in a row. Because if we tap a point that doesn't need to be tapped, that's fine, but we spend less time trying to figure out the order. And so he called this more simplified version EFT, emotional freedom techniques.
Right.
And a lot of us just call it tapping now because we're just literally tapping on our face.
That's so cool. So when you do tapping, you actually make a statement and you actually talk about where you are right now and then go to the desired. Because the universe, when you say, even though I don't want this, the universe doesn't hear not, it hears the statement. So how does it work?
Right. And that's the thing for a lot of folks when we're tapping is the basic version of EFT starts with what you tap on the side of your hand and say, even though I have this problem, even though I have this pain, even though I have this issue, even though I'm so angry. And the first time people hear it, a lot of folks go, whoa, no, positive thinking. You got to think of the positive.
That's right.
Yes, in most cases. If you break your leg, you don't go to the doctor and say, let's talk about my arm. My arm feels really good.
No.
If you are cleaning up your vacuuming your carpet because you have company coming over and a plant has been knocked over and there's dirt on the carpet, you don't go, I'm just going to look at where the carpet's clean. What you resist persists. So EFT is a cleaning process.
I see.
So you want to, so it's not a matter of sitting down and look at the carpet and going, oh, there's so much dirt on the carpet. I'm just focusing on that and keeping it there and feeling bad about it. I'm acknowledging that it's there. I clean it up, and then I don't have to pretend that it's not there anymore. Because if there's an issue, if we're feeling a pain, if we're feeling angry, to say, oh, that's not there, we're kidding ourselves. And a big part of our brain is stuck on that issue. So as we clear that out, and so tapping is basically, at its most basic version, is a stress relief technique.
Mm-hmm.
And when you consider that most, if not all of the issues that trouble us, both physically and emotionally, are either caused by or worsened by stress,
right,
then you can see why a simple technique that downregulates stress is so beneficial in so many areas of our lives.
right.
So that's what we want to do, is we look at what is causing me stress, which may show up as fear or pain or anger.
Right.
What is causing me this? And as I talk about it and I bring it up, and then I can release it, and I can start to look at, okay, my brain is trying to tell me there's something to be upset about here. Now I want to calm that down so that I can think more clearly and find a real solution.
Okay. So because I know it works, but I've always wondered, because I remember the first time I heard about it was at least 10, it seems like 10 years ago. And it seemed as though I really had an aversion to admitting where what was wrong. And I can understand that other people might have that at first when they start with it.
Absolutely.
But have you, how does it work so fast? I mean, it's a state change, you get a state change, but it actually manifests like a field change, so that you're actually like I saw one of your videos on YouTube where you wanted to grow your YouTube channel, and I want to grow mine. And you tapped on it, and it was like, oh, by the time you guys see this, it's going to already be that. But you're using goals, and you're using future state to change where you are now, reality now.
Yeah.
And right now, as everyone knows, we're going to 2022, which hopefully will be even better. Oh my God. This roller coaster has been amazing, but we're just going through change after change after change, and having to adjust, and having losses and gains, but not always seeing it as a gain. We're just in a roller coaster. So how do people get a great benefit from using tapping for goals?
And as you're saying, it's all this change. And a friend of mine, Andy Bryce, says, people want things to be different. They just don't want anything to change. Because we have this aversion to change. We like things to be a certain way. Even if our lives are crap, it's our crap, and we know where it goes. We know we handled it yesterday. We know we can handle it.
Right.
Even if the stuff on our vision board looks awesome, part of us is going, we don't know how to handle that. We know how to handle this. Look around at what you've got right now. This we know. That learning curve, yuck, hate that. And so so while we're looking at our vision board, or however we have our goals set out, those things that we say we want, part of us says, fantasize about it all you want, but we're going to make sure it doesn't happen. Because the 5 to 10% of our mind that's conscious is saying, I want this. The other 90 to 95% is saying, yeah, but you can't handle it. So we're going to sabotage every attempt you make.
Right.
That's why I say self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love.
Mm.
If we say, I want to make a lot more money, but we just somehow don't get around to making the calls that we could make. We don't finish the projects that we started. And it's self-sabotage, and we'll say, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so lazy. No, you have a part of you that is saying it's not safe to be more successful. You can't handle it. So we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. So you want to have more compassion for yourself. Recognize, wow, it's actually brilliant. I once said, I'm going to do a TED Talk, and the title is, Your Self-Sabotage is Brilliant. Now knock it off.
Then tap it off.
So when we look at the goal, I have had people come up and say, I've read all the books on making more money, and I've gone to all these seminars. It's just not happening. And I'll do this. And so I'm going to ask everyone to do this. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Go inside and imagine yourself having the amount of money that you'd like to have, or that you believe you'd like to have. Maybe imagining what you've got, imagining looking at your online bank statement. Just following your breath through your body, say, it's safe for me to have this.
It's safe for me.
And you can do this with any goal. It doesn't have to be financial, but imagining that goal and say, it's safe for me to have this, and rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. Now, some of you are going to say, oh, it's absolutely at a 10. And I'm going to say, check again. Because if it was at a 10, you'd already have that much money, or you'd obviously be well on your way to having it. Because the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we're resisting it.
Right.
And we generally resist things because they don't feel safe. And how we respond to that is this little thing in our brain called the amygdala is looking for threats. And when it perceives a threat, like seeing that, the vision board, and it's thinking of all the terrible things that could go wrong and all the people who are going to be angry at us and jealous of us and all of the consequences, and it shuts us down with a stress response. Sometimes it's an obvious full-blown fight or flight response. Sometimes it's just very subtle, but it just turns our head the other way so that we miss this opportunity. And it's brilliant. So if we can deal with that stress, we're able to look back and go, oh, there's that opportunity. Oh, I can have this. It's safe for me to have this. This idea that I wouldn't be able to handle it is a misunderstanding that I picked up somewhere along the way. Some old programming, some old misinformation from either something someone said to me, like, you're just lazy, and how many of us have been told by someone, either you're lazy or you're not the smartest person, you're not the sharpest tack in the box or whatever. And it's like, who were these geniuses that were telling us? So as we can tap and clear the stress around that, because part of us says, don't even look at that. And we have a stress response when we try to look at it. Right. It's what you were saying a moment ago, Kathy, about having that aversion to looking at what might be wrong. And that's why we stay stuck. Right. It's if we have a flat tire and our car is on the side of the road, it's like, but I don't want to look to see if there's anything wrong with the car. I might as well set up camp right there on the side of the road because.
Well, so this kind of works with two different things that people may know about: the law of attraction, because what we're talking about is we're clearing the obstacles to you really feeling good and having what you want. And Ho'oponopono, which I know Dr. Joe Vitale, and I read Zero Limits a long time ago. But that is also clearing. The Ho'oponopono is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, or it's some other order of that. Right. And do you ever tap on that? Could you tap on that?
I actually have a video on that.
You do? I didn't know that.
It was actually one of my first videos was tapping through, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And just continuing to go through and just doubling up both clearing techniques. So yeah, when you're looking at tapping for money, there, as you said, there's the law of attraction aspect. And that's how Joe and I got together. Is we created a program called Money Beyond Belief, because we were both talking about the same ideas in terms of law of attraction, where they were saying, think about what you want, feel really good about it, and let it happen. And we were both saying, yes, but when we think about things, our beliefs might not be that positive. So I may be saying, I want lots of money. I'm trying to imagine thinking really good thoughts about money. And I have all this program about how money is the root of all evil and people who have money are greedy and awful people. And I'm trying to be in this vibrational harmony with money. And what I'm really putting out there is, I don't want to be a bad person. Right. And so I'm wondering, how come I don't have the money yet? So we were both on this path of clearing out the limiting beliefs, so that when we think about money, we really are in a positive vibration and we really do attract it. Now, some people are like, wow, law of attraction, that's kind of woo-woo. So on a more pragmatic place, in terms of action, results, we get results from the actions that we take. Right. And if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Right. And if you always think what you've always thought, you're always going to do what you've always done. So if you have thoughts about why you couldn't or shouldn't have money, you're going to keep doing those things that limit your financial abundance. So as we change our mind about money, and we think about, okay, money is the root of all evil, and we can tap on the stress that comes up as we think about that. And we might even find out, oh, guess what? That's not even a correct translation of the statement.
Right.
The actual statement is, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
Right.
So it got condensed and has a totally different meaning.
Of course.
So it's greed is at the root of a lot of bad behavior. But greed is the result of fear, and fear is something that we can clear,
Right.
so that we can say, okay, I'm looking at abundance in a very positive way. I can make money in really positive ways. I can use money in really positive ways. Money is a tool, like a brick.
Okay,
A brick
well,
can be.
I'm gonna have you do one of these by the end, towards the end, because I want to make sure everybody can see you. Because what's happening is they're getting a little feeling about this, but I hope they really get
Oh,
to
absolutely.
experience you. This stuff, you guys, is you could have a upset moment at the office, have somebody promise you something they didn't follow through, and you can clear yourself right away. You can, within 5-10 minutes, you can be in a totally different state and pull out what you really want to happen and start manifesting that. And I guess I don't really think law of attraction is that woo-woo. I guess I am woo-woo.
I don't think it is either. I just recognize that some people hear that and go, oh, so I like to say, okay.
The people on here know I'm way out there. I'm way out there. But I think what's happening is that we're realizing that this we're in a huge time of change right now. We're going into the age of Aquarius. The solar system's being just pounded with photonic energy from the great central sun. Our whole solar system's getting it, and everything's upgrading. And the new world, or the evolution of us, is a kinder, more loving, more supportive environment. It's peaceful. And what we've got, and the people that watch this show are amazing leaders in conscious business, because they are not trying to win a war. They are trying to share gifts and be solutions, loving solutions for problems. So we're creating this toolkit that you have could be the perfect thing they don't know about. That's what I'm hoping, that they don't know about, and that you're like, wow, this is going to be the way that I get through these changes, because it changes. We have to change all our systems are not structured on equality. They're not structured on making everyone happy and successful.
Right.
And so that has to change, but we don't have to be hurt by it. We can, I guess during the Great Depression, there were more millionaires made during the Great Depression than any other time in history. So these big economic changes and these big times of change, if you have the right attitude and you're in service,
yeah,
there's lots of ways, but you have to keep yourself up.
Right.
You have to keep cleaning, right? Cleaning and tapping. And
that's why I recommend tapping on a daily basis.
Yep.
It's energy hygiene. We have physical hygiene. We brush our teeth. We take showers on a daily basis, whether we need it or not. Few of us go for several weeks without taking a shower until people are holding their nose and going, that's right, I haven't taken a shower in a while. But with our stress, most of us don't have anything like that. And so suddenly we're behaving in ways that are not great. And we're wondering, hey, why did that happen? Well, because you haven't taken an energy shower in a while.
Well, I mean, you had mentioned, I don't know if this was before we got on, but you mentioned Bob Proctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I don't know how old he is, but oh my God, I think I listened to his cassettes, 20 years ago, 15, 20, at least 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he knew about this. He somehow is a Westerner. He's from Canada, so he has this funny talking a little bit. And but he knew about the harnessing the unseen to do your heart's desire, and that you deserve it. And that's what I mean, that's what you're teaching also in the tapping, is you deserve to have your heart's desire. Do you agree?
Uh, One of the phrases I use over and over again is, you are a pay attention to this because this is for you.
Okay.
You are a magnificent child of the universe, worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer. And there's nothing that is too good for you.
Beautiful.
And there is so much evidence of that. You can go out at night and look up at the stars in the sky, and you can be standing there next to anybody, and you get the same view of the stars. The universe doesn't say, oh, I'm sorry, no, these stars are for that person, not for you. Right now, just as you're breathing, you get the same oxygen everyone else gets. And do this. Take a deep breath and let it go. And just notice that in that moment, you asked for more, and the universe said, yeah, I'm good with that. Here you go. The universe didn't say, oh, no, 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 no. You only get that. Only other people get to take a deeper breath.
Right.
So there's all this evidence, but we have all these ideas that are from misunderstandings that, well, but it's different with money, or it's different with love, or whatever it might be. We have these ideas about how it's different. It's like everything's energy.
Right.
And it's here for us.
So perfect. Well, the reason I was hoping to get you on before Thanksgiving this year, because I know that some people are sequestered, or have been for going on 2 years, with their family, and but Thanksgiving always brings up all the extended family interesting relationships that seem to trigger.
Funny how that is.
Well, and it's so funny because instead of us saying thank you for it, we growl about it or tell a story about it. Do you have anything that you'd like to share that might be helpful for people at this time of year? I mean, not only are we going through big changes, then we've got the holidays coming up, which a lot of people get stressed out about.
Yeah, yeah. And I have a video called "Is Your Family Driving You Crazy?" and a couple of ones on holidays. But let's do some tapping. Let me introduce the process.
Put you on full. Here we go. Okay.
Right.
Here we go. Thank you.
So I'll first show you just the basics of the technique, and then we'll play around with it. But the very basic version of EFT is you take the fingertips of your index and middle finger, and you gently tap on the side of your opposite hand. And that's where you start with the setup statement about whatever the issue is. So let's say you're getting together for Thanksgiving, and your cousin Bob's going to be there, and he has been a real jerk over the last year. So you're going, oh, I'm so angry at Bob. So we'd say, okay, the issue is I'm angry at Bob, and on a scale of 0 to 10, oh, it's a good 8. He was a real jerk. And where do I feel it physically? Oh, just my shoulders tense up. So now we're clear on what's bothering us. So we start here and say, even though I'm angry at Bob, I choose to love and accept myself. We'd repeat that 3 times. Then we would tap right here at the beginning of your eyebrow. Say, all this anger at Bob. And we generally tap the points 5 to 10 times, but it's not an exact science, so don't worry about it. You don't have to count it. Then you go to the corner of your eye, all this anger at Bob. Right under the middle of your eye, all this anger at Bob. Right under your nose, all this anger at Bob. Right under your mouth, just above your chin, all this anger at Bob. Right here where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat, and you can use all of your fingertips or make a fist and tap right there. All this anger at Bob. About 4 inches below your armpit. It's right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys can figure out where that is. All this anger at Bob. And finally, the top of your head. So using all of your fingertips, just tapping around little circles around the crown of your head. All this anger at Bob. Take a deep breath. Then you check again and go, okay, how angry am I at Bob? And for some people, it'll go from an 8 to 0 like that. And it's just like, okay, no, I know we didn't, we can talk about it, but I don't need to, it's not serving me to have this upset. My shoulders feel fine now. Sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 7.75. And we might get more clarity about it. When we're tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of the onion, and we start to have insights about, oh, this is what's bothering me. And we may be tapping a few points ago, this anger at Bob, oh, it's not even Bob. It was Kathy in the fifth grade. That thing Kathy did to me in the fifth grade. And then we clear that out. So now it might even be grateful to Bob. It's like, oh, thank you, Bob, because you were such a jerk. I was able to clear that out, and I cleared out the stuff from the fifth grade that's been holding me back throughout my life. So that's the very basic. Now we're going to have some fun with it, and based on what you're talking about. So everyone, close your eyes, take a deep breath. With your eyes closed, just allowing yourself to be present, allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible to receive maximum benefit from this process. And thinking about the holidays. And allow yourself to think about what you really want. And it may be in terms of spending time with family. It may be in terms of trips that you're planning to go on. It may be in terms of your desired income by the end of this calendar year. Thinking about what you want and the peaceful, happy feeling that would go with that. And as you think about that, just allow yourself to be aware of what's going on inside. And notice what parts of you might resist that. What thoughts, beliefs, or memories come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't experience that joy, that peace? And it might be you're thinking, well, because my cousin Bob's going to be there and he's going to be a jerk. And allow yourself to be aware of what you feel in your body and the thoughts, beliefs, and memories that contribute to your need to be upset about that, feeling bad about that, even though you're not there yet, even though that's not even a present event. And not judging yourself. You're doing the best you can based on your program and how you've been taught to think and behave. Just allowing yourself to be aware of what's in there, noticing on a scale of 0 to 10 how much resistance there might be to feeling really good right now as you think about the holidays, and how much you might allow yourself to enjoy the holidays. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and then just tap where I tap and repeat back what I say. Even though I have some resistance, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I have some resistance to things being awesome, I choose to love and honor myself anyway. Even though I have some resistance to things being awesome, some resistance to feeling really good, some resistance to being really joyful, even though I have some resistance, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And maybe anyone else, including whoever my cousin Bob might be, because I choose to be that free. All this resistance to things being awesome. And part of me might say, I'm not resisting things being awesome. I absolutely want things to be awesome. I want to have great interactions with my family. I want to have wonderful experiences. I want to have a great financial end of the year. Why wouldn't I want these things? And how am I feeling right now? I may be limiting my happiness right now. It's not that I'm bad or stupid. It's not that I'm weak or lazy. It's just that I have some old programming about what I should be upset about and how difficult things should be. And maybe just an expectation of difficulty based on things that have happened in the past. Every time my family gets together, there's always drama. And I always turn to the eggnog to get me through it. And I expect this year won't be any different. But now I have a new tool. And I can help myself clear stress. Not just the stress that I expect, but the stress that I'm carrying from Christmas past, from past Thanksgiving dinners, from past year-end disappointments. So that part of me says, the end of the year is cold in so many different ways. And if that's what I'm thinking, guess what I'm going to create? Because there's this funny thing about human beings. We love to be right. And we are powerful creators. And we will manifest what we expect. So that when Cousin Bob pisses us off again, we say, see, I was right. Yay, me. I'm clearing this need to be right. Because I'd rather be happy. And then I can share that happiness with others. I choose to create an awesome holiday. I choose to create an awesome end of the year. And then I help others experience that too. This could be the best gift I ever give. It's a gift I give myself and then others. I'm clearing all the reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't. Clearing these at a cellular level. Clearing them all the way back through my past. Back through all the past holiday challenges. Allowing myself to be the best version of myself. Allowing myself the best experience. And I choose to love myself in the process. In body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath. And close your eyes and just check inside and notice how you're feeling in there. Hopefully you have some more positive anticipation of the holidays.
That was perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My pleasure.
Wow, that was great. So Brad, you have a children's book, and so you're helping humanity in all different levels. Let's put it this way.
Trying.
And your book is it's a, let's see, the name of it is Magic.
The Wizard's Wish.
with the Wizard's Wish. Perfect, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to get that for my daughter and granddaughters. So that's teaching EFT to kids, right?
Yeah, I wanted to, so many of the things that hold us back as adults are things that came from childhood.
Right.
So I was thinking, if we could teach tapping to kids and help them clear out some of these misunderstandings at an early age, that creates so much greater opening for a wonderful life and for them, for children to share their gifts and talents in bigger ways.
Uh-huh.
And I'd always loved reading stories as a kid and then reading stories to our kids. So I thought, it'd be fun to come up with a storybook that is a bedtime story that'll also teach them about the magic inside of them.
Well, they're learning in a lot of countries, they're learning meditation. So it's a perfect thing to add to that because this is a way to deal with, well, first of all, being aware of yourself and then not projecting whatever the frustration is out on everyone else. And as big kids like us, we need it too. So I'm sure the parents that read it to their kids are going to benefit from it as well.
That's the plan.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then you were also in a film, a tapping film.
The Tapping Solution.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Or, I mean, I want people to know how to get a hold of you and how to benefit from you. I mean, of course, you guys, you've got to go to his YouTube channel. I'll put it in the description here so that you'll have his website that you'll be able to keep up and get on his email list so that you can get notification of where's Brad?
What live events that I'm doing and all kinds of things. Yeah. So if you go to tapwithbrad.com, and that leads you to all those different my YouTube channel, and it's Tap with Brad on social media, most of the social media channels.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all kinds of resources for tapping and clearing that stuff out, and allowing yourself the freedom to have the awesome life that you deserve, which then benefits others as well, especially conscious business owners. I mean,
yeah,
the world needs you sharing your gifts and talents in a bigger way. And so letting go of the fear of being seen, which we had talked about earlier, all these fears about why I couldn't or shouldn't put myself out there. Yeah, clear that stuff out because the world can really use what you have to offer. And it's great that you get rewards for that too. So win-win situation.
Right. Well, and honestly, it's more fun. I mean, really, truly, we came here to have some fun. And this whole thing about life is hard and then you die, or, you got to do all this stuff and then you go to heaven. Hey.
Heaven on earth.
It's a wrong memo. Who put that memo out? Because that's not, well, I don't know what heaven on earth exactly means, but I know that we're magnificent beings and we're only using part of what we're capable of using because of all of these scripts and programs that God love our parents. They were trying to protect us.
They're doing the best they could.
They were, and that's what they were taught. Yeah. So nothing to complain about, but this is a time that we can release all of that. All the veils are thin, if not gone, and we are holding these thought forms still in place that don't have to be here anymore. So, but you're guiding people to actually get centered and experience themselves so they can be responsible for changing state.
Yeah. Teaching people to love themselves.
Yeah. So can people work with you one-on-one, or is it mostly, I mean, do you do coaching and one-on-one and masterminds and all that?
I do group coaching, I do individual coaching, and I do live workshops online. And, eventually out in person again. I've had the pleasure and privilege of doing events in, I think, 9 different countries now.
Wow, cool.
So looking forward to doing more of that again.
Oh, I'd love to see you in person. That would be cool. I have to say, you guys, if you haven't experienced Brad before today, you will be very delighted because this is an easy to do way for you to refocus the potency of anger and fear into something productive in your life. And it's potent. I mean, when you start to get liberated out of all of that woulda, shoulda, coulda stuff, or on the same, it's like you're in a treadmill of replaying the same storyline, and it's like a good angel's on one side and a bad angel's on the other side, and the bad angel's got the steering wheel. You just sort of can kick that part off and go to, hey, I think I'd like to be a creative being with the universe.
And the universe says, yes, that's what I created for you.
that's the whole reason. That's the gig.
Yeah.
And the expansiveness of it is really what's going to get us to this next beautiful part for our children and grandchildren, this next world that we're creating right now that is full of love and acceptance and welcomes your gifts, because everybody came here. There's no junk. Everybody is super powerful and has so much purpose here. And the things that are blocked, tap them away, right, Brian?
That's the thing. I talk about the Michelangelo principle, and why David back there.
Yeah.
Michelangelo said the statues are already there, perfect inside the marble. All I have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece that's inside. And there's a lot of us clinging to that excess marble. No. It's like, no, let it go. You don't need it. There's a masterpiece inside, and keep revealing it.
Well, and I think the other part of that is, and just to let you know, I lived in Florence. I went to college. I lived with a countess and her daughter in Florence.
Wow.
In the 70s for over a year. And
even though I'm jealous.
Yeah, there you go. But when you see life expressed in art, that's when you see the divinity in all of us. Everyone is capable of bringing their form of art, their worldview, and that's what's going to turn this boat around. So I'm really excited to introduce everyone to you. Once again, want to make sure everyone knows to go to tapwithbrad.com. And any last words, Brad, that you'd like to share?
I just please and thank you for trying this admittedly kind of strange looking technique, but the benefits are immense, and anything that helps you be more open to sharing the gifts and talents that you have with the world is awesome. So thank you for being willing to do that, and thank you, Kathy, for what you do and for this opportunity.
Oh yeah, this is great, and I am a big fan. So so everyone, again, it's tapwithbrad, BRAD.com. I'll put it in all the information, and please do yourself a favor. You will thank Brad a lot, just like I am. And I'm so glad that you would come on with me on Conscious Business. And so with that said, we'll need to sign off. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.